Okay, everybody. I've got 4 things I want to show you today. They're all varying and different things in the stamp world. Every time I go up to Brian's house, he goes, "Hey, show your subscribers this. This is really interesting. Show them this, show them that." But they're not big enough to do a whole video on. But together, I can make a whole video. So, go grab a cup of coffee, sit back, relax, and I'll strap you in and we can have a look at all these things. Cheers, guys. Alright, the first thing, Brian bought a huge box of beautiful envelopes. And he gave this to me and says, "What can you see?" Now, I did notice that there was a signature here. And it was the 50th anniversary of Australian Inland Mission souvenir cover. See this here? I remember this stamp coming out many, many years ago. And I wasn't alive when that came out, but I remember collecting that many years ago. But what I want to show you is the letter inside. And this is what Brian does. He always looks a little bit further. Australian Inland Mission of the Church of Australia, Head Office, Assembly Hall. So this has come from that mission. This souvenir cover and stamp commemorate the Jubilee of the Australian Inland Mission of the Presbyterian Church of Australia by special arrangement with the Postmaster General's Department. The stamp has been franked in Alice Springs, and through the kindness of Mrs. John Flynn, you will find her signature on the cover. The mission was found, so this must be the lady who was in the photo. The mission was founded in 1912 and attempting to fulfill the dreams and visions of the late Very Reverend Dr. John Flynn of the Inland has rendered spiritual, medical and practical service to the people of the 5/8 of our continent. John Flynn dreamed of a mantle of safety over the inland and in association with his helpers presented to his generation the Flying Doctor Service and the Pedal Wireless, the first of their kinds in the world. His death in 1951, far from ending his work, has inspired his development in the provision of more hospitals, including a hospital for inland children at Warrawee, Adelaide, South Australia, the erection of hostels for school children, the strategic places, the fulfilment of his dream to care for aged men of the bush in the old timers settlement at Alex Springs at the cottage at Birdsville. In 1956, the John Flynn Memorial Church, unique in design, was opened in Alice Springs and remains visible evidence of the contribution made by this great son of Australia to the development of the inland, the safety of its people and the spreading of the gospel story through the continuing patrolling of the AIM Padres. Your interest in the growth and development of our inland areas will be deeply appreciated. If you would care to be placed upon the new map of Australia showing our activities, forward your name and address to the Australian Inland Mission Box 100 GPO Sydney, or come to the office on the 2nd floor Assembly Building, Margaret Street, Sydney, or at the Assembly Hall 156 Collins Street, Melbourne. We'll be glad to see you. You might even care to lend us a helping hand sometime. How cool is that? So I think... Alright, so that's Dr. John Flynn. Alright, so the lady who signed it must be the wife of Dr. John Flynn. She's not the lady on the envelope. That's pretty cool. I'm just thinking this might be a photocopy and not a real letter. Pretty amazing though, to set that up. So he really liked that. This envelope was selling for not very much in the box. So like you got a whole box and had all little prices on them and everything like that. So he goes, spotted that signature, read the letter and goes, that's worth a lot more than what they were trying to sell it for. Isn't that just amazing? All right, that's the first one. He went to a stamp club meeting on the weekend and he picked this big folder up. I don't know if I'm going to be able to see it all because it's super size. Look at this, all the way up and down. So I'm not going to be able to fit it all on the camera, but look at this. Sheets and sheets of stamps. So I'm not going to pull them all out, but look at that. How amazing is that? Look at that. I mean, they're all very cheap, face value, all mint. That's Papua New Guinea, Cocos Keeling Islands. That's Australia, 1 cent. Oh yeah, so all like 1 cent stamps. So if you're interested in any of these, again, just give him a ring. So really, a lot of this stuff, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 50 cents for the whole sheet of those back in the day. So I think he'd be selling these pretty cheaply. Oh yeah, look at that. Oh yeah, look, 1 cent stamp here. A whole heap of these. Oh yeah, they're all just 1 cent stamps. There's lots of them though, isn't there? 2 cents, 1 cent. Oh, you couldn't even use these as postage. It'd be just so hard. You couldn't fit enough of them on there. But they're very pretty. 9 cents, 6 cents, 9 cents. Pitcairn Islands. 6 cents, 6 cents. Wow. 6 cents, 6, 2 and 1. There's just so many. Wow, they must have been rubbing their hands together. Can you just imagine though, you know, the post office got all their 1, 2 cent stamps in, and then he came along and bought them all. Wow. So many of them. I just, to me, I don't know, like, just to collect them like this is just insane. Because even if you made 100% on your money, you know, if it was 50 cents a cost or $1, you make another $1. Wow, 1 cent flowers, beautiful. 2 cent flowers. 4 cent, 3 and 4 cent. 1 and 4 cent fish. 1, 6. 3 and 4. Yeah, you'd have to see how much these things are selling for. Sometimes the really cheap version stamps sell for a bit more because no one really uses them or buys them in mint. So it could be pretty lucky to find this. But I think the folder to keep them in costs more than the stamps. Wow. All right, that's done. Right, the next one I want to show you is a kid's book. Look, I've got 2 more things. There's a kid's book. He showed me. He was selling it for $6. And it's a pop-out book, which is quite fun. And it's got stamps in it. China stamps. Look at that. And then this little book. I don't know what this little book is. Oh, it's a stamp, miniature sheet. Look at that. Another one. Another miniature sheet. Another miniature sheet. So I have no idea of value of these. Not sure at all. It's 2003, so my book will not... Oh no, my book will do that. Let's have a quick look to see if it's got a value. Hold on one sec. So using my new set of 2015 book, they're worth $1, $1, $1, $1, $3. And I cannot find a price on these. These stamps there. I wonder if the expensive one is in there. Oh, should be the last one. Is it? No. Oh, here it is here. Yep. So I don't know how much those are. So they're like a miniature sheet. So they'd be worth a lot more like that in that book. But Stanley Gibbons doesn't have it. So I think for the price it is very much worth it. And then you've got the whole book. So that's the way to present stamps, isn't it? Very, very cool. And Brian said he'd never seen anything like it. So he said, make sure you share that. All right, let's have a look at the next one. Next one, Brian said that Pope John Paul II was huge in the philately world, and that this book, back in the day, would have sold for a pretty song. So he goes, get them to have a look at this. So we have got everyone celebrating John Paul II. It's quite nice. Not my sort of cup of tea, but open mind with everything Brian gives me, because I get suckered into everything he sort of ends up showing me and appreciating everything. So this is sort of stuff, I would have never thought about looking at, but now I'm looking at it. So provides a big story about his extraordinary 26-year reign as John Paul II, known affectionately as People's Pope, become one of the world's most popular and highly respected leaders. He was renowned both for his compassion and his belief in freedom and liberty. So each country, supposedly, is celebrated with a stamp. There's Poland. Oh, we've got one over here. Hungary. So like a miniature sheet. So very much envelope orientated, which is nice. Fiji. So it talks a bit of a write-up about, where the country is and what the Pope meant to him, which is very nice. So Brian said people, who are collectors, who are Catholic, really like this type of stuff. Seychelles. Oh, look at it. It's way up there. Oh, no, here. The Seychelles Islands. We've got this one here. St. Helena. Little island off the coast there. There we go. Tristan da. It's like all these little islands that produce these stamps to make a living from, producing them. Wow. So these are all being sent to one person. So I wonder if you had to order, you got sent these. I don't know, like you got the person's name on them. That's very cool. So they must have gone through, you must have put an order for this and you got it delivered and had your name printed on them. Bahamas. I'm not even going to try and pronounce that. I've seen that country before. Swaziland. His Holiness. Look how young he was there. St. Kitts. Kiribati. Antigua, Barbuda. Wow, I tell you what, you get to pronounce a lot of weird names when you're a stamp collector. Latvia. Croatia. I knew a girl once from Croatia. She was really, really nice. She was the first, no, she wasn't. What did she get me into? Caesar salad. First introduced me to Caesar salad, and then from there I was addicted. Very nice. I hope she's well. Chile. She was actually a born-again Christian, which is nothing wrong with that, which was really nice. Jamaica. I was all alone when I was doing my course the second time in Wagga for 1.5 years. We used to go walking and hang out. She was super fit. Malta. She'd always talk about a little boy waiting at home for her. Palau. Very nice. Argentina. So wow, he's really got some work into this. So I wonder if you bought it as a set or you had to order it and then they'd send them to you. I'm not sure. I wonder if you had to build it yourself. St. Vincent and the Grenadines. I wonder what date they all got issued. They're all the same date, 1st of June 2005. 1st of June. So yeah, you got these, who it's Zambia, yep, 1st of June 2005. So it's a good 21 years old, this. That's a long time ago, isn't it? Isn't it amazing how fast time flies? Austria. I used to hate not being able to sleep in, but now I'm glad because I need to spend as much time doing this as possible. Dominica. Wow. Micronesia. Where's France? I want France to do one. Two-tone one. Wow, look at that. It's a little kid. Wow. Brazil. I'm not even going to try and pronounce that. That's in the middle, a little island off the coast of South Africa. Wow. Oh, Jerusalem, Israel. Wow. That is cool. Very cool. Zambia. That's it. All right, hold on one sec. Finally, to make it very interesting, we've got a few covers to look through that he gave me. Concord. How cool is that? I like the cover more than the stamp. This is cool. Look at that one. Sir Charles Kingsford Smith. That is so cool. And it's signed as well. It's got right up inside it. Tasman Sea Flight, 1928. Wow. That's so cool. Now all this stuff is for sale. So if you're after any of it, it tickles your fancy, give Brian a ring. Don't SMS. Do not leave a message. He can't work that stuff. Just keep ringing until you get through. The WAF. There you go. That's the women, was it Air Force, Auxiliary Air Force? Oh yeah, Women's Auxiliary Air Force. That's for New Zealand. Oh, there you go. When I joined in 86, we were part of the first combined female and male course, which was quite cool. A message to you from the King. Buckingham Palace, 1918. The Queen and I wish you Godspeed, a safe return to the happiness and joy of home life with an early restoration to health. A grateful mother country thanks you for faithful services. King George V. Oh my God. How amazing is that? Oh my God. That's insane. Wow, a message to you from the King. Wow, how do you find this stuff, Brian? So Brian picks this stuff up from out of auction lots, and he goes through it and looks at it all. That is mad. That is wild. Battle Honours of the Irish Guards. The Royal Green Jackets. It's Napoleon. The Welsh Fusiliers. The Royal Scots. Parachute Regiment, the British Army. Oh, that's nice. The Battle of Britain, 25th anniversary, first day cover. That is cool. It's just a piece of cardboard to keep it solid. Oh, I must have all these upside down. It's very cool. The Royal Green Jackets. Ah, oh, rightio. These are all the Irish Guards, their stamps. Gurkha Fair. Oh, I remember the stories my dad told me about the Gurkhas. He had some work with some Gurkhas for a while in South Africa or Rhodesia. He goes, their knives, he goes, you'd be on guard duty and they'd sneak up in the middle of the night, and as a joke, they'd stick the knife around they come behind you, put their knife around the front of your neck, and then just laugh. Dad reckons he'd poop his pants. Not literally, but he just give him a hard time. British Army. Wow, that's cool. I loved all these little soldiers when I was a young kid. I always wanted to buy the paints as well to paint them, but the parents didn't trust me with paints in the house. I don't blame them. I wouldn't trust my kid either. Not at the age I was. Wow. They're great. I think the highlight was that letter from the King. That is insane. I don't want to lose that for him. That, a message from the King. King George V. That'd be nice in the King George V album, actually. Might have to hit him up. All right, hold on. That was very different. That letter from the King blew me away. I hope people watch through the Pope and everything like that and actually get a look at that, because that just blew me away completely. Yep. I love going over Brian's. I love him giving me all this different stuff. I think we all need to look at everything, really, and appreciate it for what it is. I know we all have our passions in certain areas, but sometimes to have a look at other stuff and appreciate other stuff, it sort of opens our eyes up to other avenues of stamp collecting. Anyway, have a great day, everybody. Enjoy your stamp collecting. It's the best hobby in the entire world. Catch you later. See ya.